So, what if we replaced all the Harry Potter characters with Pokemon? Just like each character is one Pokemon, I'm going to tell you my opinions on what each Pokemon would be like. As in, what Pokemon each character would be. Each character that I know of, at least. I'm not doing any of the characters I haven't gotten to know very well yet, like the three brothers. Besides, the three brothers would probably just be... the Univamonkeys. Probably. Anyway, let's get started. Harry Potter himself would be a Snivy. Now you may be asking, aren't Snivy's evolutions too feminine for a male character? And I want to say yes, but Snivy is a perfectly good Pokemon to represent Harry Potter, because Snivy actually evolves into a snake Pokemon, and since Harry can actually talk to snakes, it makes a whole lot of sense. I even just now found a video by Sir Sire that says Snivy is the best starter Pokemon ever. Also, in the Pokemon world, speaking Serpentine would not be a good thing, so that's why. And one of the closest overpowered super rare kinds of things in Pokemon is having opposite stat changes. And enter Snivy's hidden ability, Contrary. Contrary is an ability that makes stat changes to yourself on moves you do on your own, do the opposite of what they normally do. So therefore, her sword stance will lower your attack. And Leaf Storm will do something to your special defense or something. I don't know what it's supposed to lower normally. And thanks to this video, I found out how it also works for other moves your opponent uses too.
If your opponent uses a move to lower your stats, they will instead be raised. If you use a move that normally lowers one of your own stats, it will be raised as well. One of the more popular ways to use Contrary is by pairing it with a powerful move that normally lowers one of your stats as a drawback for being so powerful.
And yeah, there are very few Pokemon that have the Contrary ability. One of which is the Snivy line. Because speaking snake would obviously mean that Harry Potter is broken in the real world, as in overpowered. So, therefore his Pokemon form should also be absurd when it comes to its power. Also the fact that Snivy actually does evolve into a snake Pokemon. For those reasons, I chose Snivy for Harry Potter. Now for Ron, we have Piplup. Now, Ron would have to be the water type of the group, since it will be a trio, and you have to make a trio, the water or fire grass circle, and Ron being the water type makes the most sense because of that one very viney clip in the first movie. But oh boy. So therefore, her Piplup would be one of the main reasons. Also, Piplup would be one of the Pokemon that's most associated with being shy and stuff. So there. Another reason is that if you in the real Harry Potter, if you mess with Ron, you get hurt. Well, he tries to hurt you, as shown in movie 2 with the 8 slugs. I think he was trying to show an example of, hey, if you mess with me, you're gonna get extremely hurt. So that's why I also chose by hidden ability, Defiant. So Defiant is an ability that makes it to where that if one of your stats is lowered, then your attack gets raised, which is an amazing trade-off. Many Pokemon can have the ability Defiant, and one of them being Purugly, which I never knew. But we'll get to Purugly later, because Purugly, a character is actually going to be a Purugly in this vid. Why don't you try and guess who while I go over the rest? So, the Shyness, hidden ability, Defiant, and the fact that Piplup is just so cute and charming in general, just like Ron is. I chose Piplup for Ron. Now for Hermione. You know that I'm already so close to finishing off the fire, water, or grass circle. So Hermione is definitely gonna be the fire type and of the trio. So, and the fire type I picked was Fennekin. Not only for the fact that Fennekin is a very feminine Pokemon, but also the fact that I can see Fennekin being very smart because it evolves into a psychic type. Plus Fennekin can be very cute and romantic, like Hermione is. I mean, yeah, Hermione starts to get pretty romantic towards Ron in the very last movie. Unlike the other two, I didn't choose Fennekin by hidden ability Magician, because Magician is an ability that's pretty mediocre at best. The only thing wrong with me making Hermione a Fennekin is that Fennekin and Piplup aren't really in the same egg group, because if they were, then it would make a whole lot more sense.
Let's make babies.
But for those other reasons, that's why I chose Fennekin to be Hermione. Now, there are some Pokemon I picked for her not very important characters. Like, for Ginny, I picked Pikipek, even though Pikipek and Snivy will never ever be in the same egg group. And yeah, I don't support her Harry X Draco. But I'll still watch their videos about the ship. And anyway, since magic is actually just battling in the Pokemon universe, for Dumbledore I picked Mega Kangaskhan because it was a big competitive threat. And Madam G, her name I don't really know how to spell. I just picked Gothitelle. And for Neville, I actually picked Wishy-Washy. Now, let's just get on with the bad guys. At first, I wanted Voldemort to be a Garchomp, because Garchomp is a dragon, so it would resist all three of the starter types. But then I realized the ground typing would make grass and water attacks do neutral. Then I thought even more about how contrary, and I picked Malamar. Now, this is actually a very good idea, because Malamar is actually a very evil Pokemon, and here's proof from Dobbs' channel.
This creepy dark psychic Pokemon definitely deserves a spot on this list, because it's absolutely psycho and will stop at nothing to make your life miserable. Let's look lovely Malabar's Pokedex entries. It wields the most compelling hypnotic powers of any Pokemon. It forces others to do whatever it wants. It lures prey close with hypnotic motions, then wraps its tentacles around it before killing it with digestive fluids. Well, that's lovely. It takes over your mind and then it melts you. In the Island of the Giant Pokemon episode in the original anime, it is mentioned that no Pokemon is actually evil and that the villain's Pokemon do evil things because their trainer does evil things. Well, Malamar don't give a crap about any of that. In episode 19 of the X and Y anime, a psychopathic Malamar devises a plan to manipulate all humans and literally tries to conquer the world. It kidnaps an Officer Jenny and forces her to pretty much be its slave. Then it hypnotizes pretty much everyone in the episode so they can work towards its harmful plan to overthrow humanity. What a nice squid thing. They have no human influence. They just want to manipulate, hurt, and roll over everything. You can just look at its face and tail. This thing is mean.
Okay, now we're getting to the next one. Have you guessed who, what character Purugly was supposed to represent and on this list? If you haven't watched much Harry Potter, then I'm throwing Purugly in the role of Umbridge. Umbridge sucks. As seen in the Order of the Phoenix, next Harry Potter movie, Umbridge will do nothing, will do anything to make your life miserable. Now, Purugly in the Pokemon world would never actually be that boring. I just picked Purugly because Umbridge likes cats, and they're both terrible. Well, Purugly is not terrible in the way of battle usage. Because of this video, I know that, but I just hate them both equally. And I also had seriously no idea that Purugly could have Defiant as an ability. So I guess that would also make sense on Umbridge, if she was just a Pokemon. Oh my gosh. Just Umbridge wants to ruin your life. A life just like Purugly wants to make you forget you ever saw him. Now the last one on this list is Bellatrix. I decided I could make her Gourgeist. Because Gourgeist is feminine, and feminine reasons are not the only reason I'm putting certain Pokemon in these lists. Pokemon in this list. It's just the fact that both Bellatrix and Gourgeist are crazy. Here's the Gourgeist entry from that previous video I shown.
You see that smile? Do not trust it, because that is not a smile filled with sunshines and rainbows. Nah, it's usually smiling like that whenever its victim is crying in pain. Other Pokemon such as Hypno can eat your dreams and possibly be a kidnapper, but at least it doesn't sing when they murder something. Let's read Gourgeist's lovely Pokedex entry. It enwraps its prey in its hair-like arms. It sings joyfully as it observes the suffering of its prey. They take delight in seeing their prey slowly die in front of it. This is on another level of cruel. I know that there's a lot of carnivorous Pokemon, and just like real animals, there is a food chain. Instead of just killing their food and chowing down, this thing literally plays with its food in the worst type of way. On top of it torturing its victims, this thing is actually cursed. If you hear it singing in the middle of the night, you are cursed for life. Either way, you are screwed. Either you get suffocated, or you get cursed. Pick your poison. I know what's behind that smile. It's horrible things. It's hard to imagine that anything could be more vile than Gourgeist.
So for those reasons, Bellatrix would be a Gourgeist. Then again, and that one scene at the end of Deathly Hallows Part 1, if it was Pokemon, wouldn't make any sense because as Fennekin being lectured by a Gourgeist would not make any sense considering fire is super effective against grass. So anyone who decides to make a Pokemon version of the Harry Potter movies can find a loophole around that, like the Pokemon anime did with Rockruff losing to a Magmar. Now for the last one, let's go to someone who's actually a nice person, Hagrid. Now, I think if Hagrid was a Pokemon, he'd be a Drampa. I think this because both Hagrid and Drampa are kind people. Well, they care for the trio main characters. Well, Hagrid does, because Pokemon aren't in the Harry Potter universe. Or are they? Well, Trace is a Phoenix. And also for the fact that, you know that Drampa Pokedex entry that's famous for being the most crazy?
If a child Drampa has made friends with is bullied, Drampa will find the bully's house and burn it to the ground. Yo, that's kind of messed up. He's right here. He's the one who killed my Raticate. Uh-oh.
Now, would you believe that Hagrid would go that intense for the Golden Trio? Would he? I don't know yet. I'm still almost near the end of Order of the Phoenix, so I haven't really watched all the movies yet. I started with the Lego games. So, let's just imagine Hagrid murdering Draco because Draco is such a jerk to Harry, Hermione, and Ron. So basically, in the Pokemon world, that'd be Drampa murdering a Bagon. Yep, Draco's a Bagon. Yeah, Drampa murdering a Bagon. That's what I meant to say in the first place. So, if you want me to make custom Pokeballs for each Harry Potter villain, then let me know. Princess Primarina signing out.